All right. Hey, John. Let's see. I couldn't hear you there. We got Dan.
How about now?
There we go. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Hey, Bobby, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great. All right, everybody. Welcome to Fast Tracking Trading Success. This is all about how confident traders improve quickly. So we're excited to have everybody here today. Let's just go to that questions box and let me know that you can hear us, and let me know what you're looking forward to most this year with your trading. Let's see. Dan, you guys can pop in there and answer some of these questions and call some people out.
All right. What was your question, Bobby? What are you most looking forward to in your trading?
Looking forward to today, to your trading this year?
David says moving forward. Okay, hey man, that's great. I love that. Okay, very good.
Great. All right. Fantastic.
Joe says
Shelley
just listening.
Go ahead. Shelly says finally reaching my goals. Okay. Good
Very
stuff.
Cool.
All right, fantastic. Well, before we get too far along, we need to go through this disclosure. Dan said more consistency. All right on, Dan. So options involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. Prior to buying or selling an option, a person must receive a copy of Characteristics and Risks of Standardized Options. Copies of that are available from your broker or by emailing investorservices@theocc.com. All right, and don't trade with money that you're not willing to lose. And so, trade examples here are hypothetical, based on a model portfolio. And some of these are estimates and may not assume options expire at expiration, leading to maximum potential profits and credit spread examples. So all that legal stuff is out of the way. Let's get on to why we're here. We're on the hot seat today. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Bobby Valentine. I am one of the guys that works behind the scenes here at Market Taker Mentoring. And so we're going to kick this off. And I thought this might be kind of fun to let Dan and John introduce each other. So Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about your friend John and maybe a little story or two about him?
Sure. So I know many of you know John, and I've known John for, holy crap, well, like 15 years or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a funny story about John, but I don't know. I can't really think of anything offhand. Well, I'm not going to tell this one. Actually, there's one that just came to mind that has to do with the Kung Fu Academy, but we're not going to go there. We're not going there at all.
Please, please do not.
One day, friends, one day. You might hear this story, but now today's not that day. But so John's been with us forever, and he is our head coach here. I've been doing this for 30 years. John's been doing this longer than me. And anytime that I need help with a trade, John is the guy that I go to, especially and including managing trades. And am I thinking about this right? Is there a psychological thing that I need to overcome here? So John is the one person that I definitely entrust our student traders. I put you in good hands with John.
And Dan, I think needs no introduction here. Everybody knows Dan very well. So clearly the founder of Market Taker Mentoring and the motor behind it and everything else. But he literally is the smartest guy. I've learned so much from options trading. I mean, certainly, like Dan said, we've been together 15 years, and I just cannot tell you, even though I may not give him the gratitude as much as I should, but I've learned so much from him. And not really a funny story, but just in the past, we used to do a lot of expos and just people coming up to him and saying some stupid stuff, and he would be so judicial. I know what he wanted to say, but he would be sweet about it. And I know in the back of his mind, he's thinking something else. So just that's happened time and time and time again. But just he's very, very I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but very judicious about handling people's problems or some stupid, crazy ideas they have with options trading. That's for sure. So
And you guys didn't take the bait. I was going to try and get some embarrassing stories on you guys, and John, I let you go last, so you could really take advantage of that. But maybe next time.
Dan's story would have been one of the most embarrassing things in my life. So he's lucky he didn't say it. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's just jump right in here now. Now that we know who's on the hot seat, so let's just jump in and look at the market landscape. So, what's been the biggest surprise so far this year for you guys?
You want to take this one first, John? Or?
Sure. Just generally, it's just the volatility, which I think catches a lot of people by surprise very often, and most people are not prepared for it. So, and that's kind of what we're doing here today is getting you thinking about of why things should be or should things not should be such a surprise in the future. And it should be, less that it happens on where you have it planned out and thought out ahead of time. But for me, it certainly has been the volatility, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing for me. Actually, I look at it as a good thing. I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and I'll pick up on that. And, I want to talk about the volume this year. Man, I remember back in the day, like the first time we broke 1 million contracts traded in a day, and geez Louise, man, can we go to the next slide here for a second,
Yeah.
Bobby?
Pull that up. There you go. You see that?
Yeah, no, the one before that. Yeah, the one before that.
That one?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So, geez, man, look at this. On March 10th, there were 4.8 million just S&P contracts traded. That is freaking insane. And, that's only like, half the market or something like that. There's just massive, massive volume. And, the whole thing about that is, why is there massive volume? Because right now is probably the greatest time to be trading options that I have ever seen in my entire life, probably. And the numbers don't lie. Like, people wouldn't be trading so many options right now if right now is a terrible time to be trading.
Mhm.
Right now is an absolutely great time to be trading them. Here, let's see the next slide there.
Yeah, it's certainly not going away either. It's definitely not a fad, that's for sure. Honestly, it just excites me how they talk about that it's just going to get bigger and everyday options for across the board. It really is crazy. So.
Yeah, and you've probably heard me talking about in the chat room and in my daily videos and in stuff. This is an incredible time for covered calls and cash secured puts. I've been loving the volatility for that, but it's also a great time for zero DTE options. Just options from long-term 2-year options to short-term 7-hour options. It's this perfect storm, this perfect sweet spot where we're getting like the right volatility. The option prices are raised enough. You can still buy them because they're not so overpriced in some situations, but you can sell them because they are overpriced in other situations. It's just, honestly, this is the best options trading market that I remember ever seeing literally in my life. Take it away.
And that's saying something, because you've seen a lot.
And he's old.
Yeah, I know.
Even though I'm the oldest. Even though I'm the oldest.
I noticed my first gray hair the other day.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. What keeps you guys up at night, and what excites you about the coming months in your trading? John, you want to
If
tackle
I'm
that
being
one
honest,
first?
yeah, no, I'll take it. So yeah, if I'm being honest, really nothing, really nothing. I mean, when it comes to the option front, there's other things in life. I'm not going to lie about that. That might keep me up at night. But when it comes to option trading, there really is nothing. I feel secure in where I'm at, honestly, and that's a good thing. I mean, the famous thing is if you're up, you can't sleep at night, something is not right with your trading, right? It's simply put. And let's be honest, again, you can guess where I'm going with this eventually, but guess why you're not sleeping at night, right? There's reasons for it, and you know it yourself if you're thinking about it. But to be honest with you, we talked about this earlier, and honestly, there really is nothing that keeps you up, at least when it comes to options trading. That's for sure.
And what excites you?
So, just again, just just doing what I do. I'll be honest with you. I get excited because this is not a job or career. It's a passion of mine. And certainly, even though I love wine to death, I would still put this as my number one passion in life, is helping other traders, because really again, I could have said this 25 years ago when I started doing this. Nothing has changed. So it might be boring, but really, I don't change that. I love the aspect of being secure in my own trading and being able to share my passion, which is getting people better at trading. So honestly, it sounds silly, but it really does what excites me. Not even months, years and decades. So
Dan, you want to jump in on there? What keeps you up at night?
So what keeps me up at night? You know what? I'll tell you what. Some of the folks here who are attending keep me up at night. I'll tell you what, with this market volatility, I have gotten more emails from people asking, "Oh, geez, what do I do? Like, what's happening? I think I'm going to stay out of the market," and they're scared. And I do not like when our student traders are scared, when they're trading scared. I want you to be confident, and you can be. Structure is what makes that possible. Structure in your trading. I was thinking about this the other day. Have you ever heard somebody say, knowledge is power? Yeah, knowledge is power. Well, that is a bunch of crap. Knowledge is not power, because I have talked to people who have studied options, and I can quiz them. I could say, okay, if time passes, does this out of the money calls delta get bigger or smaller? They can answer all John's quizzes. But you know what? That doesn't make you a better trader. Organized knowledge. Now that makes you a better trader. Organized knowledge. Taking that knowledge and putting it in to a structure that you follow certain steps so that you can reach a predictable outcome, so that you can reach consistency.
yeah, I just agree with you 100%. I always say about that with my quizzes. I mean, certainly knowledge is good, but a lot of times that's on the back burner, and really putting together is really, really the key. And that's where so many people stop short. I mean, I'm glad they could answer my question correctly on my quizzes, but we need to take it a lot further than that, though. So you're exactly right.
Mm-hmm. And then you wanted to know what excites me too, right?
Oh yeah, let us know.
Well, I'll tell you what, as much as, like I said, there's for novice traders or people who aren't used to, this, what I would call exciting type of market, which does excite me. I got news for those folks as well. The market's going to go higher, and maybe not tomorrow or the next day, maybe not next week, but it's going to go higher. And when it does, if that's the sort of market that you're comfortable trading, like that's your bag, you know, you're really great at selling puts, cash secured puts, or put credit spreads, or poor man's covered calls, like you just feel better in that bullish market when you know the investments are doing well. And there's a lot of folks out there like that, because a lot of people start out from an investor and then become a trader. Um, we need to be prepared for when that happens, because guess what? It's going to be different. All this stuff with, you know, tariffs and all that business, you know, you can love Donald Trump, you can hate Donald Trump, and it doesn't freaking matter. The things that he's talking about are either going to work or they're not going to work, but the world's going to be different. Okay. And probably some of them are going to work to some degree. There are things that are going to be fundamentally changed in the relationship of the market as a result of this. And when that happens, and when at that time or after that time, the market goes back higher, you better be ready for that new change. The market is always changing and you have to be prepared for it. Like if you know that there's a hurt, and look, everyone knows that the market's going to go up one day, okay? And it's not going to be 10 years from now. If a hurricane is coming, you don't wait until the hurricane comes and then say, hey, honey, don't we have something like plywood? Should we, you know, put that on the window? And then, you know, you get blown away while you're trying to put it up there. No, like you have to prepare. You batten down the hatches before the storm, you get prepared, and then you're safe and you're confident and you're ready to go. I don't know. That excites me. That excites me.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, preparation is key in anything. It really is. And this is a question that I see come across our support line quite a bit. What's working best for you right now? I know a lot of people just want it handed to them, you know, and I know we're not good. We're not in that business of just, you know, giving out trade ideas because, like we said in the disclaimer, you know what, everybody's situation is their own. It's all individual. But John, what are some things that is working best for you right now?
Yeah, well, not me in particular, but some of my student traders, though. So, and I think, I mean, Dan had this conversation on his podcast as well just recently. So, a student of mine, I don't even care about what the stock is just been doing cover calls for a while now, and it's unbelievable. And this was a month ago plus, and she already brought in like $7,000, just in the last year. And of course, time has passed since then. But then, you know, in group coaching, we've been talking about, and I get so many emails. Dan probably gets more emails than me, but I get quite a few. Talked about that. We recently talked about directional butterflies, excuse me, and how well they're working. I had one student is like, John, this is the holy grail for me. I've really excelled at this. And then recently, we've been talking about call butterflies as well, which have done well over the last couple of weeks. So it's really, again, you can't say what's working best and now at certain times, but being able to be flexible and have, just so many different ways to extract money from the market that, again, is discipline and focus and not just, yeah, maybe I'll just take a shot at that, or maybe I'll do some of this. No, what's the reason behind this? How are you going to execute this, right? How are you going to manage this, and so on and so forth. And that's what I really like. Not that they've made money doing these strategies, is how they've formulated to figure out which strategy to do at the time based on their own personality, right? It's all based on your own personality, because what works for me might not be working for you, or you're not comfortable doing it. And really, that's what I get excited about, is how they're going to manage it. I would send them back. I'm like, all right, how did you manage this? They said, you know what? I did a blah, 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 directional butterfly on this trade. And I asked them, like, how did you manage the trade? That's where I give them their grade. If they're like, well, I just let it go higher, which they did. These people were pretty, again, students of mine, they were pretty focused and disciplined. So to me, I gave them, high scores because how they managed the position. So to me, that's what's really been working well. And let's be honest, that always works well in any market environment, right? All the time. So.
Dan, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, so yeah, John, that's interesting about what's working for our student traders, that kind of doesn't matter because everybody trades different. So I guess I'll answer what's working for me. And it might sound a little bit funny because I've been doing this for a while, and you would think you do something for a while, like, oh, you're tired of it, you're burnt out or whatever. But for me, like right now, it's desire, because the tools in my toolbox, like I just closed an options trader trade, like a short squeeze trade today. Boom, nice profit.
Mm.
I executed my covered calls and cash secured puts in my IRA. That's been going just great. I don't know, like these tools in my toolbox are working, and I'm getting wins because of this market. And honestly, it just makes me want it more. Like one win makes you want another win, it makes you want another win, and it just gets you excited. And when you're excited and have that desire, like you just want to keep going. And I don't know, like it's kind of crazy, but I'm more fired up about trading right now than I've been in years.
No,
Awesome.
I agree with that. I miss it when I can't trade. And to your point, when you are disciplined and focused, I always make the analogy. I'm not even a pool player, but when a guy sinks that shot, he walks around that table a little more confident. Misses a shot, puts his stick down, walks away. When he makes that, he just surveys it like he's the best pool shark in the world. And it's kind of like trading. You get that confidence, but that's where it needs to be. Can't get too far ahead of yourself, and that's where, again, where you were saying the discipline comes into play again then. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about this for a minute. How should traders be thinking right now? Dan, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, let me jump in here. So, I mean, traders should be thinking like traders, right? Like it's the same no matter what the market's doing. Because, like I said, I mean, the market is just going to change over time. 6 months ago is different than it was 6 months ago, than it was 6 months ago, than it was 6 months ago. And I could keep doing that until you run out of 6 months. It's the same no matter what you're doing. Like you know what you're looking at, you know when you're going to look at it, you know why you're looking at it, and you just follow your plan and you execute, and you don't let things get in your head. That's the stuff you shouldn't be thinking of. You just follow that plan. You know what to do because you've already worked it all out. You've got it probably on a document or something like that. This is probably John's bailiwick. Let me toss it over to you, John.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. But here's the problem, though, right? Not being the Debbie Downer here is, unfortunately, you know it, but I probably even know it more because I'm probably working more hands-on with this traders, that they unfortunately, again, don't have a trading plan in place. And I know it sounds, simple, and I fought it for a long time myself, but you cannot go forward without this. And I think deep down in your heart, you know this too. And you need help to do this. I mean, so many people want to do it on their own, and it's very, very difficult. It really is. And they think there's an easy way. Oh, let me see your trading plan. Let me see someone else's trading plan. I'm like, no, you have to make it to yourself. And that's why I'm always there to help. I always say my proverbial office door is always open and stuff, but you definitely need help, and you can't do it yourself. And that's what's so difficult. But to me, that really is, I mean, again, not about what the market's doing. No, you have to think about what yourself is doing. How are you? You're trying to do something that is extremely difficult to do. And the only way you could do it is a well-written, thought-out, documented, outlined, well-followed plan. And that's exactly why we're here. I know it sounds crazy, but I always make the analogy like opening a restaurant. And me, Dan, I'm not sure about Bobby, if he's a big foodie guy, but if you're opening up a restaurant, you wouldn't just say, you know what? It's open up, let me figure this out how it goes. Unfortunately, too many people treat trading that way. It really is. And this is something that needs to be taken serious. I know I cry about this all the time, and I did it myself, but this is something that the best traders I've ever been with, have done this. That I can promise you on the bottom of my heart, they have done this, gone through the rigmarole of this. They've gotten help. They've done it on them all on their own and with my help and other people's help as well. But that's really what they should be thinking all times, all times. So.
All right, now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some common challenges. John, you talk to students every day. What are they facing right now? What are some of the big challenges that you're seeing consistently?
And it's not just right now, it's the confidence level, right? I mean, who doesn't? It's not even your P&L, right? It's the need to be right as a human being that gets the blow when you have a losing trade, right? So it's really the confidence level that gets wounded more than anything. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not fun losing your accounts. And I mean, Dan can tell you stories of how many stories you've heard of people losing their accounts, and there's got to be a better way to do this. You know, like he was mentioning earlier, knowledge is power and stuff. I gotta learn more about this. No, that's not gonna cure your problems. It's not. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know that yourself. But sometimes it takes, be hit in the face, and I'll be honest with you, someone else to tell you that this is your real challenge. Your challenge is yourself, and you being stubborn, not getting help and doing the things you need to do to get to that point. This is something that is very difficult to do. I can't stress that enough. And just think about anything you've accomplished in life. There's some few things that you might have been able to accomplish on your own, but you always need an outside source, right? So first time I was with a woman, well, all right, I digress. I don't want to get in that. So, but anyway, but as far as trading goes, you need help. But seriously, your biggest, P&L stories and moral stories, I guarantee someone has helped you, right? And friends, right? Say, show me your friends, I'll show you where your future is, right? Show me the people that helped you, I'll show you what your future is going to be. And unfortunately, Joe Schmo is not going to get you where you want to be, right? So that's my thoughts.
Dan, you want to jump in there?
Yeah. I'm going to steal that one, John. Show me who your friends are. I'll show you. That's great. I love that. So yeah, the biggest challenge is, I think right now in the market, there's a lot of noise, you don't know exactly what to think and what to believe. And sometimes things change fast, right? So I think when there's a lot of noise and you're not sure what to listen to, it can shake your confidence. Like I would say there are internal challenge, there are external challenges. Let's start with that one, which is, noise. Just what do I listen to? There's these things coming at me, these are giving me challenges. But the internal challenges, like all these things are going to keep coming at you, but how you handle them, like that's what matters. Seeing through and forgetting about the noise. If you've got a solid trading plan that you developed with somebody who knows what they're doing, you're going to be way better off, and you're not going to listen to all the baloney. You're just going to follow. You're just going to do what the market tells you to do, because when it does this, I do this. When it does that, I do that, and trading becomes a lot easier.
Love it. And so, John, how are you helping people overcome these challenges? You're talking to them every day. What are some of your go-to things to help people overcome these things?
Yeah, it really comes down to discipline and accountability. It really does. So, and honestly, when I first started getting into teaching, and especially, I'm not going to lie, elderly gentlemen, maybe some old curmudgeons, I wouldn't think that they had these challenges, because they would never overtly, as maybe some younger traders would be more emotional about trading, so to speak. But when I dug deeper, it would find out they're no different than the younger people. And this is the truth. And I've always said this, we're all different human beings. but specifically as option traders, there are so many similarities. And I always share the story. When I first started teaching, I'd be like, someone would make a mistake or something. I'm like, wow, I did that same thing. I wasn't going to admit that because I'm supposed to be the teacher as I grew 25 years ago. But it is crazy. As human beings, we have several different personalities, but as option traders, there's so many things. And it really comes down to being afraid, having discipline, holding yourself accountable. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is holding yourself accountable. And a lot of times you need someone's hand to hold to be accountable. Just like when you're a young child, you wanted your mommy, right? I sometimes I look at myself, I used to goof around. I was on a tangent. I'm like, I'll be your mommy, or your daddy, depending what you needed at the time, and take you through, holding your hand through this, because it is scary. But you have to promise me you're going to put in the work. And I could tell which people were willing to do this and which people were not. And not a surprise, the ones that kind of fell off the map, they wouldn't put in the time to do it. I told them these are the things they need to do. Hold yourself accountable. Send me how you're going to manage these trades, how you're going to do this. And honestly, they just wouldn't do it. And the ones that consistently do that, I mean, they don't need a pat on the back from me, but what a shock. Those are the ones that are the most successful, that hold themselves accountable because they have taken the challenge of taking, their education further and holding themselves to a discipline level that most people will never, come to contact with, because they just either don't know the road to take or are just too stubborn to take it. So that's really how, again, my job isn't to make fun of you and say, oh, you're never going to make it. My job is there to help you, so to speak, but point out the things that I encountered and so many other traders that I've helped have encountered. And it's crazy. I think people bond over knowing, like, I'm not the only person that's struggling with this problem, and so on and so forth. And that's great. That's a sense of security, but we need to fix that. Otherwise, you're going to be in that big pool of option traders that never, ever make it. And it's a big pool. It's a big pool, so.
Dan, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I look back, I kind of want to piggyback a little bit on some of the stuff that John said. Like, I look back on what helped me when I was younger. And like, a lot of you know my story. I was a runner and then a clerk for a long time, like 4 years, and then knocked on a bunch of doors, got turned down. The last door I knocked on, the guy said, yep, you're hired. We're going to give you some money. Go make markets and we're going to split the profits. And that's what happened. But like, that's what happened at that point. It wasn't like they just said, here's money, just, we'll just take half and you're never going to see me again. Like, I had to go and see my risk manager every day for the first year of trading, because, I mean, two heads are better than one. That's how all of human civilization has gotten to where we are. It's sitting around the campfire telling stories, and it's this collective knowledge that's gained over the years. Like, if you had to go and figure out how to make a light bulb yourself, like, I mean, you'd be in trouble, right? So yeah, that collective knowledge that John was kind of alluding to, just like him helping students, and what he's talking about is our one-on-one coaching program. I had that with my risk manager, Bob. He'd say, well, what are you going to do with this? And there were times when I was like, I don't know. And he would help me, he would nurture me. And so, that's what, Bobby's question was, how are you helping them overcome these challenges? I mean, that's how we, all three of us really here at Market Taker, are doing. One-on-one coaching is what helps overcome those challenges. And I don't know what else would. We can teach you more knowledge, but until it's organized in such a way where you're confident and you can just bust through all these roadblocks on your own, it's a challenge. Like, this is the the next and big step for I think a lot of our student traders, one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, I honestly, I was too stubborn at first, I really was, but I was smart enough to know I needed help. And to me, as a young retail trader, that was the first thing I did for myself. I did one-on-one coaching, honest to God. So it was a little scary at the time and stuff, because I'm like, oh my God, how's this going to go? And so on and so forth. And granted, he wasn't me, right? So, but yeah, but to me, it was a huge, huge boost to not just my mental and psychological confidence, but overall, it just made such a big difference. I, honest to God, if I would not be here today, I said that to him. His name was Jeff. I would not be here today if it was for him and Dan, of course, now and stuff. But it really, really made such a big difference in life. So, and to me, it didn't matter. I was like, you know what? I always say, we all want to be successful at trading, right? I've written several articles on this, but I'm like, are you really willing to put in the effort? You say you want to be successful, right? But there's a difference between saying it and actually doing it, though, too. And that's one thing I knew. I was smart enough back then to know that, you know what, want to do this, and this isn't just a passing fad. I do need help, and that's exactly why I went to that, though, and didn't even question my decision at all. So. Sorry, just following up on you a little bit, but yeah, it clicked off a couple things when you were saying that. So yeah.
Yeah. So Dan, why is now a good time to lock in a trading plan?
Why is now a good time to lock in a trading plan?
Not.
Yeah, I would say it's not a good time to lock in a trading plan. You know when was a good time to lock in a trading plan? Yesterday. Or last week would have been even better than yesterday. Like a year ago would have been great. What's that analogy? Like, when is the best time to plant a shade tree? Well, today's the second best time. The best time was 20 years ago, right? So yeah, I mean, that's where I am on that. John?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing I could say that's any different, because this is something that I expound on, speaking of the shade tree, protects you from the sun, protects you from the rain. And one of the things I learned actually from my mentor was, a lot of times you're trading, your roots are going to grow deep before the fruit blossoms. So you still might feel frustrated, but you don't feel the difference, until it's pointed out to you, like, how'd you handle that trade? And that's why I say to students, I say all the time, you know what, even though your P&L isn't showing it yet, you are on the right track. So, getting back to what Dan said, again, I needed to do it a year and a half before I actually did it. And again, what got me over that edge? Guess what? One-on-one coaching did, right? It finally, he's like, I had to be, disciplined. I had to report and held myself accountable to him. And I'm not going to say it made the change just like that, but it certainly was a difference mentality, and I felt good about my trading. It wasn't as scary as it was, and I knew I could do this after I got through the hump, though. It's crazy.
So what's in the trading plan that keeps you focused during challenging times or challenging seasons?
Well, for me personally, and again, a trading plan is personal to yourself. So, but for me personally, it's goals. What's the reason we do this? Now, you can make it simple, monetary. When I'm working with students, and one-on-one coaching with their goals, I say, of course, it's about money, right? Now, what's the number one trading thing? Preserve your capital. No, I'm here to make money, right? But I always say, don't focus on the money aspect, right? A vacation. For me, it was wine buying, right? I wouldn't let myself buy wine until I got disciplined and wrote that trading plan, so on and so forth. And again, it cost me money at first, but it was well worth it in the back end, though, too. So to me, what really keeps me focused is I go back to my goals as a trader, and I still have it. I still look at it. to this day, because mentally it is such a great component that keeps, now I put the focus on helping others, but it still grounds me to back to where I started, and it makes me a better mentor and teacher, knowing that this is what really got me started. I can't say that's going to be the same for everyone, but to have that goal section is completely what helps me and keeps me focused through tough times, this challenge, whether I'm teaching or my own trading itself, though, too.
Dan, what about you? What part of your trading plan keeps you focused?
Well, the trading plan part. I mean, like, that's what a trading plan is. Like, I know that there's a lot of people who are listening to us right now, and if you've listened to us before, you've heard us talk about trading plan, trading plan, trading plan, like, that's all we talk about
So
is
true.
trading plan, because that's all that matters. Because, I mean, look, man, you could wake up and say, oh yeah, today is such a great day, I'm going to go and trade, and I've got all this confidence, and you read this chart and you're like, sure, stock's going to continue going higher, I feel great. And that's why you make that decision, because you're in a, like, you're in a good mood, and you have, whatever. Or you're down and you're like, oh yeah, I don't know, I've been losing a lot, yeah, this stock is going higher, but geez, I should probably just sell it because I always do the wrong thing. Like, like, you let your mood, your emotions take control, and that's no way to trade. You're guaranteed to lose in the long run if that's what you do. Like John mentioned before about opening a restaurant, or any business for that matter, right? Like, trading is a business. You cannot start a business and just be like, okay, doors are open. Geez, oh, shoot, I probably should have hired people. Geez, I don't know. Hey, you want to go and work the cash register? Oh, you don't know how to work the cash register? Oh, geez, should have trained people. Geez, I don't know. I should have thought more about this. Trading is the same darn thing. Like, if you, like, McDonald's, right? Did you ever read that book, The E-Myth? Anybody ever read the book, The E-Myth? Type a yes in the questions box if you ever read that. It's kind of like for entrepreneurs, but this guy, Michael Gerber, I believe was his name. Like, he interviewed the guy who started McDonald's, Crocs. And Crocs' philosophy was, you should have such a tight system that you could hire the least talented people, because the system is just so easy that anybody can follow it. You don't need to make decisions on the fly. Like, the system's there. Bell rings, you flip the burger. That timer dings, you lift up the fries. You put 3 shakes of salt on the basket. That's it. It's a system. And that's the only way trading works. You want to talk to anybody who's ever made it at trading, they follow exact simple steps. And it is that system. And it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. I've never met anybody who could do it on their own. And that's part of why I started Market Taker years ago, to help people with that trading plan. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
So what are some strategies that you've seen work to boost a trader's performance? And you want to go first on that one?
Yeah. Let me go on this one. And I guess I have what John mentioned earlier in mind when he was talking about I think you talked about 3 different one-on-one coaching students that you have, and they all do different things. So, I mean, what strategies have I seen work? Honestly, anything really right now. I mean, for me, like, so look, like, I've been trading covered calls and cash secured puts. You've heard me talk about it on the podcast and Substack and daily videos and all that, because it's a great time to be doing them. But also short squeezes, and also credit spreads. And it's because this market is very, very conducive to a lot of different trading strategies right now. But it's also because I'm not going in and trying to create some brand new strategy that I've never traded before. It's because it's not my first trip to the rodeo with any of these strategies. It's not my 1,000th trip. It's been like 10,000 trips to the rodeo with all these. Trading is personal, and I don't trade everything there is because I'm not good at trading everything there is. I'm good at trading the things that I really, really dialed in from working on a trading plan. And I worked on a lot of those things with John, because sure, I've been doing this 30 years and I get it. I've got the knowledge and a lot of it's pretty organized, but I just want to bounce ideas off another person who also really gets it. So yeah, John.
So, yeah, I mean, same question. I mean, honestly, before I even go further, I just love these conversations. These are my favorite type of things. I mean, honestly, just talking about things that make so much sense. I'm don't get me wrong, I love the X's and O's of credit spreads, debit spreads, and stuff, but I just love these conversations. But it's funny, this question, I thought of it more of a psychological. When I first read it, before we did this presentation, I was like, you know what? I'm not thinking about option strategies. I'm thinking about psychological stuff. That's what, and with my current students, we work on a lot of psychological things as well that could help you. And a lot of it I learned from my mentor, my trading psychologist as well. And it's funny though, the people that I'm acquaintance with that maybe aren't my students. So where I see this is I see more the excuse part of things. So, and I'm not saying if you're not with me, you're not worthy, but I hear so many stories like, well, I gotta learn a little bit more of this stuff before I can do it. Or my trading plan. Yeah, I'll write a trading plan when I get this a little bit underneath my, a little bit better at this stuff and so on and so forth. Or you know what, I'm gonna trade for a little bit and then I'm gonna come see you, John, and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay. And again, to me, that's a psychological. They are holding themselves back psychological. So if they can cross those hurdles and let's be honest, humble ourselves to saying, you know what, I do need help at doing this to be successful, right? And I just find so many people, and I don't try to twist their arm, but I just lay it out in front of them, sharing stories exactly like we're doing today, so on and so forth. And obviously, sometimes I'll check in with them, and lo and behold, it's the same thing that's been happening from before I talked to them months and earlier and stuff like that. So to me, I really focus on the psychological aspect because that to me is hands down the most important part of trading. So, and that of course accompanies being disciplined, holding yourself accountable, a trading plan, and so on and so forth. So,
All right, so let's tackle this one. How long should it take a trader to become proficient, or is it even possible?
Yeah, I mean, this is a quick one. We'll just take a second on this. I mean, to become proficient, it could take 6 months to a year. But the more you learn, the more you earn, the better you get at this. This is a lifelong thing. Like I've been doing this for over 30 years and I'm better at it last year than I was last year. And last year is better than the year before. So yeah, just really quick. That's it.
Yeah, it's always a learning process, isn't it? You're never too old to learn. And that's the key. I mean, honestly, I still learn from my students as well, but I take credit for that because I instilled it in them to even think outside the box. I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. He's like, a couple of students I've had, like, you know what? We went over this, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can make it better by doing this. There's nothing. I don't ever get jealous, but nothing puts a big smile on my face. I'm like, dang, I wish I would have thought of that. But good for you, And a lot of that, they'll pat me on the back. I'm like, no, you take the credit. You were willing to put in the work to get to this point and think outside the box. So that's what I love about it. So.
So along those lines, what are some of the best ways to overcome the pains of trial and error? Can accelerating trader learning really happen? Dan?
Yeah, so I mean, first, there should never be trial and error. I mean, you will tweak your trading plan over time, but the idea is to put together that trading plan and you follow it. You run 30 trades through that trading plan without changing a single thing. If it doesn't work after 30 trades, if you're down money, then okay, you change one thing, but it's not trial and error. It's not messing around. And accelerating the trader learning can happen, and it does. It's when you put together that trading plan and just, like, let somebody show you how to do it. Like, I talked to a person who is like, this is like my friend's uncle. Like, we met years ago, and he's like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, teach option trading. And he's like, oh yeah, I trade options. It's like, oh, cool. How's it going? He's like, well, I'm not really making money. I go, oh, how long you been at it? He's like, oh, well, 10 years. I'm like, 10 years? You've been at it for 10 years and you're not making money. Why not? Like, here, like, we've got these classes. You're my friend's uncle. I'll comp you some. He's like, no, I want to figure it out on myself. Like, what? Why are you crazy? Like, I mean, let somebody just show you what to do. I mean, like, you can change it from there, but like, take the fast track. I mean, life is short. You want to take 10 years figuring out yourself? So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Mhm. So, yeah, if I could be so bold, what am I doing sitting here? Right? Talk to me. Again, this is something that I love to do. Just a quick story. I have a friend that's retiring from Progressive Insurance. He's got over $4 million worth of Progressive stock. I'm like, do you know how much money I can make you on doing cover calls with that? And I'm like, I'm not here to beg him to do it. Again, I'm not here to beg you to do it either. Do you want this or not? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? It really comes down to this. Am I willing to ask for the help and get the help that I need? And that's the same thing I say with my friend. I'm like, you know what? I'm not here to beg you, and so on and so forth. But I know 100% I can absolutely help you. You need to get help at doing this stuff. And it's going to be a continued cycle, like Dan said, frustrate. I mean, it's funny he says that. I mean, we can tell you so many stories of students we've had throughout the years, and it's the same old adage and so on and so forth. And it's different. Again, this isn't a job for me. This is a passion. This is something that I truly love. I get excited. Nothing excites me more about this job besides doing these webinars like this is getting the help. I'm not looking for pats on the back, but for things that light bulbs going off, people feeling good about themselves and so on. You do not know how many emails I get, like, God, thank God you showed me collars. You saved me $12,000 on this earnings announcement. I mean, honestly, that completely just gets me going. It wakes me up in the morning and stuff like that. So my wife usually wakes me up in the morning, but physically and mentally, or I should say mentally, she wakes me up physically. Mentally, this gets me going in the morning, though. I just love it. I really do.
So John, why don't you pat yourself on the back a little bit and tell us some specific wins you've seen from your coaching students, the people that move forward with their training.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did a little bit. Like I said, it's already just the confidence they have. And just yesterday, I went back and forward with one of my one-on-one students about managing the position. He's like, how does this trade look to you? So I came back with 6 more questions for him. I'm like, all right, I'm not being overbearing to you. He's like, no, this is exactly what I need. I'm like, all right, what if you don't hit a profit target? Well, you don't hit a stop loss, right? Again, part of your trading plan. And that's why I said, after he finally answered those questions, like, are you going to add this to your trading plan? He's like, I already did. And I'm like, things like that just put, the smiles on my faces. So, and that, honest God, that was just one example from yesterday, but there's just countless stories. And it's not even about money. It's about confidence in knowing you can improve someone's life, mentally and of course, monetary wise as well, which really just gets me excited. But story after story, I mean, I even share with my wife and stuff. She always talks, she's a reading specialist for kindergarten, 1st to 2nd grade. So yeah, the kids are cuter than most of my students. I got to admit that, right? So she's got that one up on me. So, but she'll always tell me a story. I love you, Mrs. Kamisek, and stuff like that. Well, I saved this guy $5,000 because he was a disciplined trader. It doesn't hit her as effectively as her little kid saying he loves her and gives her a hug. But to me, I take that same kind of gratitude and satisfaction of helping traders out, though. So I really do.
All right, so how can people that are watching this conversation accelerate their own trading growth, Dan?
Well, one of the things that John and I were talking about before this is we want to help you right now in this market. And we want you to consider one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching is the answer for a lot of people. And most of the people in our community who have gotten to that level, they've gone through our one-on-one coaching program.
So, John, what does a typical coaching session look like?
Well, this is the beauty of it, right? It's all about me and you working together, and it's tailored towards your personality as well. And that's what makes it nice. Like, oh, we're going to cover this and this and this. Now, there's certainly some basics that I usually cover because most people know or don't know what they know and don't know and stuff, so to speak, and stuff. So we certainly do that, but it really is intensive, and we work together and we try to, again, hold yourself accountable, get the psychological aspects. Certainly the trading plan, we can't mention that strongly enough, we have a million times here. So it's all drawn out. And to me, the big part about one-on-one coaching is getting you talking, because you can listen to me and shake your head, yeah, I got it. But really, I want you talking and explaining things, because how do you learn when you have to go out on a limb and talk it through yourself? Like, even when we'll go over trades, and I swear to God, this happens all the time. So I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But, if I was talking to them and I was saying it wrong, they probably just take it for granted, but they actually catch themselves about it. So to me, it's really just an intimate environment, putting together personally what you need the most, but, having feedback from both sides. So like I said, I just, that's my favorite part of the day is one-on-one coaching sessions. And, I look what's up. All right, we got to work on this with this person. And all right, what does he want to work on here? What does she want to do this time? That's why I love it though. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's all boiling down to make you accountable to yourself and disciplined to yourself and get you where you want to be as a trader that you thought would be easier than this. And then you've hit some stumbling blocks, but it's still there. It's still there. And I could show you the light to get you to that point that you want to be. So.
All right, great. So let's jump into some frequently asked questions about one-on-one coaching. Dan, people ask, do I need an account of a certain size to get a coach?
No. In fact, traders who have really, really big accounts, John and I tell them start with $5,000. That's it. And if your account is just $5,000, you don't want it to be $5,000 forever, do you? So let us help you come up with a plan so that you can grow it.
Here's another one that comes across. Would I be better off buying an asset instead of paying for coaching?
Yes. As a matter of fact, you would. If you could buy some machine where you can pay $10,000 and it just spits you out the ability to profit for the rest of your life, go buy that machine. You don't have to worry your pretty little head about filling it with knowledge and trading plans. But if you can't find that machine and you want this, then no, I don't know what asset you can buy. No.
I still think you need a trading plan, even if you had that machine too, to be honest with you. So.
So how long does it take to get signed up for coaching?
So interesting. I think we'll talk more about this in just a minute. Coaching is not for everyone. Coaching is for people who are ready. And that doesn't mean that, you've been doing this for 20 years and finally you're ready. Like, gosh, if you've been doing this for 20 years, I mean, it's too late. But I just mean mentally ready, that are excited and have that desire and want to be a trader and want to make this work and want to have fun with it. And sure, like John said, like, is it about money? Yes. But I mean, it's about winning. It's about having this fun with it and wanting to be a trader. And if that's you, then what we should do is talk first. So do this. If you've ever thought about one-on-one coaching, you think it might make sense, go right now and type interested in the questions box right now. Please go and type interested in the questions box. This doesn't mean you're committed to anything at all, for sure. Doesn't mean you're committed to anything, but it just means you want more information. And we want to get you that information. And John has actually agreed to, John and Mike have agreed to call you personally on the phone and just see what your trading's like, see what your goals are, your aspirations, and see if it's a good fit. So this is an excellent opportunity just to see what it's all about. And it looks like Michael is interested, Desiree is interested, Ashley is interested, Anka is interested, Ryan is interested, Manuel is interested, Inga is interested. All right. And please type in the questions box, interested, and let us know. You're not under any obligation. John or Mike will give you a ring. See, like I said, see what your goals are. Or here, actually, let's go to the next slide here. What we do is all those of you who, and we just had a number more type interested, anyone who is interested in just hearing what it's about, here's what's going to happen. We're going to send you a brief assessment. We're going to book a time with you to talk, to see if it's a fit. See if it's fit for you and see if it's fit for us. You know, like we don't want to waste our time or your time or anybody's time. We want to make sure that we're working with people who are ready for it and able to make it work. So you get the assessment, you're going to have that phone call. And if it does fit what your goals are and you're ready, we'll give you an invitation to join us and move forward with your trading. So we're going to open this up to questions right now. What questions do you have about one-on-one coaching that we can answer right now before your fit call? What questions can we answer right now about one-on-one coaching, how we do it? And again, just join the folks who typed interested and we will let you know.
Yeah, like you said, Dan, it's definitely not for everyone, because even talking to them, you know, people, and again, it might not be mentally right there, right? But so I could tell that, and I could certainly help them with that aspect, but sometimes it's just people are just defiant about wanting help, you know, and so it's definitely not for everyone. So it's definitely, again, it's between desire and openness to say, you know what, I've humbled myself that, you know what, it does make sense that I want to do this and stuff. So, I mean, to me, it was pretty easy decision, but I went through about a year and a half before I discovered that. So it did take me a little while, and right off the bat, I probably wouldn't have done it. But knowing what I know now, of course I would have, though. So yeah. So only thing I gained was lost money. That's the only thing I gained before doing it. That's for sure. So
yeah. Yeah. And like, here, let me tell you a story. Like when my son was 15, he said, Dad, will you show me how to drive? And I just said, no, here are the keys. Go figure it out yourself. No, of course I didn't do that. That would be ridiculous. Why would anyone do that? But you do that with people, do that with their trading. Like it just doesn't make any sense, right? So believe me, even if you find tinkering fun, even if you find like just discovery and like detective work and trying to figure it out fun, that's great, because guess what the thing about trading is? There's always something new. Like the rest of your trading career, you will be trying to figure out things, but fast track so that you can be knowledgeable and organized and profitable. And then that's when the real fun starts, because it's really not fun trying to figure it out and losing money and banging your head against the wall and being like, oh, trading sucks. That's not fun. But what is fun is getting to that level where, okay, I get it. I can grind out profits, and now let me improve upon this. Let me do better. Let me, oh, the market's throwing me a curveball. Oh, there's no volatility now. What do I do? There's more volatility now. What do I do? Market's always going to keep you guessing, but like there's a curve where in the beginning, it just sucks. It just sucks because you're learning stuff, you're trying to figure it out, and then it shoots up like this, right? But in order to get to this part, I've never met anybody who didn't have a catalyst. Never did.
Yeah, no doubt. So, and the big aspect of it, it's the psychological aspect, and that cannot be taught or structured on your own. It really cannot be and stuff. So yeah, and that's the part. Besides the X's and O's, because you're going to make money and lose money, but it's how you, again, like those questions earlier, is how you perceive. You're going to have losses still and stuff, but it's how you perceive them and go forward. That is it going to ruin your day? Is it going to ruin your weekend? In the past, it would. But knowing that this is just part of trading, not every trade is going to be successful. Not every week will I always extract money from the market. But overall, I know I will and stuff. And that's because I'm focused and disciplined with a plan, and I have the psychological help to keep me strong through when I'm going to be tested, right? I always say it's kind of like an alcoholic. Even at my level, I still feel the urge, but through all my learnings throughout the years, I can control that, right? When I'm first starting out, I would take that glass of alcohol as an alcoholic. I couldn't help myself and I'd fall off the wagon. But to me, the urge is always there to do silly things as a trader. But through discipline, through a trading plan, that urge gets less and less all the time. So I just love that analogy. So I think one of my students kind of brought that up several years ago. I'm like, I'm gonna steal that from you and stuff. So yeah.
And just to be sure, we're not advocating drinking and trading. Don't drink and trade.
Dan, do you see Mark's question in the chat box?
No, my thing is, hold on a second here.
Yeah, well, I can read it out.
Yeah, please.
Anything I should put on paper or have in my head ready before having a first session? And then there's what should I write down or think of pre-session? How long is a one-on-one session? Is it like once a week sessions, once a month, or up to you or the coach? So I think that might go to you, John. What kind of information do you need? What do the sessions look like? And what's the timetable of those?
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is something which everyone's going to be individual, so it's good to talk to them individual, but that's what we kind of decide together and stuff then too, about how often. Sometimes we'll meet, every other week. Sometimes we'll meet 2 weeks back to back. Generally, we spread it out more towards the end, so on and so forth. So it's really just getting, because everyone's different. You just don't want to lump everyone in the same type of group. So that's why it's good to talk to people first and foremost to see if they're ready for this. And then second to see, all right, how do we need to structure it for this individual? And then we'll obviously develop a plan from there. So not to like put it off, but really that's the smartest thing to do and stuff then too.
And what are some things that people should think about before their call with you guys to see if it's a fit?
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that one. Like you're not doing one-on-one coaching just to do it. Like, oh yeah, I don't mind signing up for a class. Like that's not why you do it. You're doing it because you want to enjoy trading. You want to be consistent. You have goals and you want to reach them. You want to see what trading can do for you. And so like those are the things that you should write down. You should write down what your goals are, what you want to do, think through why you want to trade. All right. Think through what are the things that are important to you that you think maybe trading can get you. And, John or Mike will tell you straight up, I mean, maybe they can't. Like, hey, I want to cure cancer. Well, trading's not going to help you with that. You know, but with a lot of other life goals, it might. So yeah, think through that. That's the important stuff. And by the way, I don't think John touched on all of this, but one-on-one coaching involves not just the 1 hour online sessions with mainly with John, he's the man, but you'll have those, but also you'll attend classes if you're already doing some of our classes like group coaching. That's going to come along with it, kind of honestly saving a bunch of money as time goes forward. So like there's a lot that goes along with it. It's a whole complete package, and I don't want to get into every detail here or anything like that, but you know, it is, we've been doing, this is our 17th year offering one-on-one coaching. We've been there, we've done it, we know what to do, we got you covered. So anybody else who is interested, who wants to join the folks who's, some of them's name I read, some of them I didn't, and sorry if I missed you, but type interested now, and John or Mike will give you a ring, and we'll see if it works, see if it's a good fit, and if not, hey, no questions asked, no big deal. You know, we're here to help.
And please think about, am I really dedicated to? And this isn't a sales ploy. This is the God's honest truth. Am I really dedicated to making this happen? Or like, you know, like Dan says, or I just here to kick the tires and just sign up for it, that's to do, because it makes my goal of getting you to your goal that much easier. It really does. It really does. So.
Well, I guess that is everything that we wanted to talk about, right?
I think that covers it. Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so
I agree.
All right. All right. And if anybody needs anything else, you can hit us up in the MTM chat room or shoot us an email if you have any other questions. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your day and take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.